Hello friends, today we are going to talk about the economic survey that has come before the budget 2016. As you can see, the champions in our government. The article is economy set for takeoff, but takeoff reforms checklist first, the survey says. This economic survey 2016 recognizes that there are a lot of global headwinds. The annual economic survey that is released on Friday comments that on whole the survey was bullish on India and the economy has been described as haven of stability. So here we agree that with the grace of God and our referee, that is Raghuram Rajan, the RBI Governor, the credit is given to RBI Governor Raghuram Rajan for maintaining the stability in terms of inflation, in terms of the value of rupee, and in terms of maintaining a hard line or a Lakshman Rekha between the government on one side and the RBI and the banking sector on one side. The credit goes to Raghuram Rajan for maintaining the haven of stability as commented by the economic survey. It further says that exports have declined due to weak global demand and private investment remains weak. Well, we agree over here that global economy at large is not definitely in a good mood, and India definitely now is far well connected with the global scenario as compared to past. So we are definitely going to face the global headwinds, and the time to come is very challenging for the Indian economy. It further says, by questioning, that if the world economy lurches into crisis or slides into further weakness, India's growth will be seriously affected, as Indian growth is much more aligned with the global economic than in the past. We agree, as I just said, India is now better connected to the world than in past, and global economic scenario being weak in the time to come. So we should not expect a boom or a likely jump in the Sensex or the Indian economy at large. It further says, on the other hand, the extra incomes in people's hands from the pay commission awards and a possibly good monsoon this year could come as positives. Well, I say the economic survey, people are unnecessarily enthusiastic, and I don't know which world they are living in. If the government thinks that by increasing the salaries in the 7th pay commission, and that after having good salaries as per 7th pay commission, the economy is going to boom just because a minuscule 1% of our Indians who are working in government sector get good salaries and the economy is going to boom, I feel pity on the experts who comment like this. We should not forget that the quality of life is not because of the government agencies or services. The quality of life is coming from the private sector. Look at the private airlines. Look at one of the articles in one of the newspapers wherein it says that the railway minister himself has admitted that the bed sheets or the blankets, rather I will say the blankets that are used by the passengers in Indian railways are washed just once in 2 months. So my God. So if you are traveling by Indian Railway, my God, never use the Indian blanket. नहीं तो कुछ ना कुछ स्किन डिजीज हो जाने वाली है. You will get itching by the time you reach the destination. खारिश हो जाएगी, my God. तो my dear countrymen, the railway agencies are very in a pitiable situation. So is Air India. So it is wrong on the part of the government to increase the salaries of the government employees. So if the government is feeling happy, or the experts who themselves are government employees and who have made this economic survey, I feel pity on them, that the economy is going to boom just because the salaries have been increased of the government employees by way of 7th pay commission. By where the money is going to come from? Money to taxpayers से आएगी, and the taxpayers are pretty Indians, innocent Indians like me. So this is not something which is said in the economic survey. So we totally disagree with this kind of comments in the economic survey. It further says, now another article, it says don't raise tax assumption limit, cut 1 lakh crore subsidies to rich. Now this is also a very remarkable thing commented by the economic survey. I would like to say that economic survey is actually basically made by babus of the government, and economic survey so far in the history of India has always been presented before the budget, and economic survey is basically an academic exercise. I won't say it is far from realities, but it is something which is aligned with the ideology of the government, and it definitely doesn't portray the exact picture of the Indian economy. So it is basically a diplomatic statement by the experts from the Indian government, and which many citizens like me not agree at 100%. So there are many lacunae, many things which we most of the time will not agree at large. So I will read further. It says subsidies of over rupees 1 lakh crore which are cornered by the so-called rich. Now see the definition of rich by the economic survey. I don't know which world they are living in. While subsidies have traditionally been defined to include food, fertilizer and fuel, those Chief Economic Advisor Arvind Subramanian has expanded the definition to include low taxes on gold and aviation fuel and administer rates on small savings schemes such as Public Provident Fund, subsidy on electricity, cooking gas and kerosene and cheap rail tickets. Now I'll go one by one. Expanded the definition to include the low taxes on gold. By tax तो government ही लगाती है gold पे. So here I agree that taxes on gold, finished gold items like jewelry and all should be raised. Who has stopped the government? Even past also nobody stopped the government from raising the taxes on finished gold items like jewelry and all that. So why commenting in the air? Aviation fuel. Here I will say that in India aviation fuel has always been highly taxed. I don't know why he said like that. Why is including aviation fuel with subsidy? My dear experts, aviation fuel in India has rather been highly taxed by the government by way of customs and excise, and that too also by the state government in the form of VAT. So taxes overall has been very high on aviation fuel. Thanks to the government in the last 1 or 2 years, the taxes on aviation fuel has come down, because of which now the airlines are surviving. Otherwise, to run the airlines in India was very difficult and almost had become impossible, and that's the particular reason why the Kingfisher failed and it drowned. Rather, the Kingfisher has not only drowned, it has died because of suffocation, because of high taxes. Administered rates on small saving schemes such as Public Provident Fund. Arey baap re. No, why the Public Provident Fund is क्यों आंखों में क्यों भा नहीं रहा है Public Provident Fund? My dear countrymen, Public Provident Fund is basically a place wherein salaried class people, those with white money, those who are salaried with limited incomes, park their money in public provident fund. And if the government experts are eyeing the public provident fund, my dear, God save the country then. Rather, government should encourage public provident fund. Rather, they should increase the limit from 1.5 lakh to 2 lakhs, because already India is not getting investment from abroad. So, if you will discourage savings in the form of public provident fund, so where will the government get the money from? Now you are basically, experts are basically forcing the public of India to either invest in equity by force, because there won't be any haven left for save the money, to park the money. If public provident funds are also taxed, already the interest income on FDs is taxed. So if your government is going to tax the interest income of public provident fund, then God save the country, God save the salaried class like me, and God save the people with white money. Now I'll add further. It says subsidy on electricity. My God, where is the subsidy on electricity? Chalo, I'll talk about later. Cooking gas. Now cooking gas, I will say LPG, CNG. It is owned by PSUs, Indian Oil Corporation, HP, Indian. So these basically public sector units are, if inefficient, if you, the government should encourage LPG connections in the private sector. The PSUs are all government owned. They are inefficient. That's the reason LPG gas is costly. And it is just like siphoning money from excise duty to giving subsidy. If the PSUs are efficient, then the LPG gas cylinder should not be that costly. Basically, the rates are not market driven. Now coming to kerosene, kerosene is, agree, it is costly, but by way of government subsidy it is cheap. I will agree here that subsidy, all kind of subsidy in kerosene should be abolished. Let the kerosene be sold on market rate. This will help in avoiding the adulteration. This will help the citizens live in peace, because the kind of Manjunath episode we had in Indian Oil Corporation, that was very disgusting. That was because the kerosene is cheap and is been adulterated by the gundas, the petrol pumps owned by the politically backed people. So good if kerosene subsidy is abolished. Now cheaper rail tickets. Where is that rail ticket cheaper, man? Let the Indian Railway is owned by the government. Let the government run the passenger trains at market rates. Before coming to know what is market rate, the government should come out with a white paper as to what is the costing of a seat in general class, in normal 3 tier, in AC 3 tier, in second AC, in first AC. So once the costing is known widely in public, then only we can say that subsidy is given. So far we do not know what is the costing to the government of a general class seat, of a 3 tier, of a third AC, second AC and the first AC. So how can we say that the government is subsidizing the passenger airfare, passenger railway tickets? No doubt we agree that freight rates are higher as compared to the passenger fares, but then government should come out with a white paper out in public as to what is the costing per kilometer of a general class, of a second class, of a 3 tier. Then only it will be better to comment on it. It also says that tax concessions on savings schemes including FDs and life insurance are used more by the so-called rich or those in the highest tax bracket of 30%. बाप रे, अरे भाई, अब मिडिल क्लास लोग जो 30% टैक्स ब्रैकेट में आते हैं, अगर उनको भी रिच बोलोगे फिर तो गॉड सेव द कंट्री एंड द मिडिल क्लास. My dear experts, they are not rich, they are simply middle class. There are many rich people in the economy, in the country, who never pay income tax. So better focus on those rather than the salaried class who come in 30% tax bracket. It further says, arguing that India's tax base should be expanded, the survey makes a case for refraining from raising the exemption threshold for the personal income tax. I agree here that government IT department, income tax department should increase its base, but the base increase should be sensible. Sensible means income tax should department should focus on those having income more than 5 to 7 lakh per year rather than those having income less than 7 lakhs, because if you tax people having less than 7 lakh annual income, then it won't be feasible on the part of income tax department, because the cost of calculating the tax and other administrative costs will be very high. So focus only on those who have annual income more than 7 8 lakh. Please dear experts, look into that. Now going further, in one of the articles it says nearly 85% of the economy out of tax net. Here I agree that there are many in the Indian economy who have income more than 7 lakh, 10 lakh, and they still do not pay tax. I won't take the names. Many Bollywood people, we know everyone, who have shown in their